very warm welcome to you from Santiago de Chile, where we're broadcasting tonight to give you up-to-date analysis and results on what's happening just the other side of the mountain, across the other side of the Andes Mountains in Argentina, where apparently we already have some results. It's a two-man band here in Santiago de Chile with Leonel, my producer and director at the moment here tonight. And we've also got some people on the ground in Argentina to help us too. Let's have a look first and foremostly some of the results which we have here on hand, and the audio. There we go. You can probably hear us a little bit better there right now. So let's have a look at what we can see in Argentina at the moment in terms of ballots counted. It's gone up now. It's at 58.62 ballots counted, and what we can see there is that the opposition at the moment in Argentina, the Frente de Todos, or in English that would be the Front of All, which is more of a centre-left coalition there, has 47% of the votes at a national level. The government, which is a centre-right wing coalition led by incumbent President Mauricio Macri, just raking in 33% of the votes. And in third place with 8 percentage points is Roberto Lavagna and his centrist Consenso Federal coalition, federal consensus there, just garnering 8% of the votes. And the rest of the candidates in this election today, another 5 candidates there, amongst them 12% of the vote. So that's what we know out of Argentina at the moment, and we're actually going to cross to Argentina very shortly, just getting all this set up here at the moment, so just bear with us. And obviously what we'd like to let you know is that you can have a chat to us via Twitter. We're on the hashtag ArgentinaVotes2019, so if you'd like, absolutely by all means do log on to that hashtag ArgentinaVotes2019. We will now go over to Argentina, where our friend over there, Julian Sanseverino, joins us. Julian, how are you tonight?
I'm really good, and I'm very happy with the results. Actually, it's a nice expression. Today was a party of democracy here in our country, if we can call it that. We had really, at the beginning, a really calm election. We have some problems going through there, showing the results. We have some problems with the show of them.
Yeah,
but now
they took
it's all
quite
calm.
some time to the government took quite some time to show the results, to provide the results tonight. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, basically the government announced, actually there was a preliminary from a judge from Argentina who said that it was needed to have 10% of the tables counting votes, 10% of the total vote of the votes counted in 3 of the main points, electoral points in Argentina, in order to show the numbers, the actual numbers. And the government said that at 9 they will show those numbers. The reality was that at 9 none of those votes were shown, and the actual counting was shown at 10.
Okay, so that's incredible, because to give a bit of context to those who are watching our broadcast here tonight, wherever it is that you may be around the world, what must be said is that obviously the polling stations, they closed at 6 p.m. as it happens in most countries around the world. 6 p.m. the polling stations closed, and at 10 p.m., that's 4 hours later, the first results started coming in. Now, this is all part of a controversy which has been in Argentina in the lead up to these elections, which has to do with the system in place which feeds in the data, the provisional data, the first results of this election, which gives them, to the public opinion. It's very controversial because experts in terms of information technology were very, very quick to signal that there was very many problems and vulnerabilities with the software. The government took weeks to give a reply in accordance to this, and they were also, by law, obliged to give the source, the source of the software, the code, the source code of the software, and they never released it. So what we have tonight is this problem where polling stations closed at 6 p.m. and it was 10 p.m. and Argentines did not know what was going on. And all we knew, Julian, was that because we only had exit poll data showing that the Fernandez ticket had won. Is that correct?
Yes, there was a lot of here it's called Boca de Urna.
Yep.
Some people go to the voting place and ask other people what they vote, and we kind of knew the results, but we didn't know the massive votation for Fernandez. We knew that he was going to win, but not with the percentage that he take. And also it's important to say that this problem is really the lating of the showing of the numbers is really related to the company that did the recompilation of the votes. The name is Smartech, if I'm not wrong.
Smartmatic, yes.
Smartmatic, yeah. And at 8.5 approx, 30 minutes, getting 30 minutes to the time that we was supposed to show the numbers. People from inside the counting center were saying that mathematics lost the connection of the counting of the votes. So it was really scary for most of us.
Absolutely.
Actually.
Julian, what we're going to do is we'll touch base with you a little bit later. Thank you for all the information which you're giving us tonight. What we're going to do is also touch base with what's happening in the Argentine media, also in the international media. Before we let you go, have you been able to have a look at what some of the media outlets in Argentina are saying at this time?
Yes, and it's most of them, the opposition media,
yes.
It's talking about a Macri that is defeated. They're talking about a Macri that is showing a different face from the normal face of Macri when he is facing an election. Even though this is a preliminary, this is an intern. The PASO are not like the official elections.
Yes.
We can see a Macri that is completely defeated, and that basically he actually give his speech before knowing the results of the.
So before the official results were released, he came on national television. He recognized very quickly, actually, that his coalition had a very, very bad night. And then a little bit later in a press conference, he was asked, okay, so how bad do you think things are going for you? And that's when he said that everything looked like they were 10 percentage points behind. So interesting developments. It will be very interesting to see what happens even tomorrow in Argentina, how the economy and how the markets react to the news coming out of Buenos Aires tonight. What we're going to do is we're going to show our viewers tonight or this morning or this afternoon, depending on where it is that you're watching tonight, this broadcast, to give a little bit of context, what's happening, we're going to show just a small fragment of an interview we had yesterday with Atilio Boron, who is a very prestigious and well-known political analyst here in Latin America, sociologist. He has a PhD at Harvard, so he definitely knows what he's talking about. And we sat down and we spoke to him yesterday in order to indulge and see what it is that's happening in Argentina this weekend. And here he is. Julian, thank you very much. We'll be talking to you a little bit later.
You're welcome.
Thanks, mate.
Well, that they are extremely important because they were not conceived to be a sort of major national, how do you say, encuesta survey.
Yes, survey.
But given the fact that all the presidential formulas have already been settled, what this will do is try to make a first test of the relative forces of the main political parties. This is all what it's going to be.
So you'd say it's somewhat of a curtain raiser for the first round elections in October.
Absolutely. In real terms, what they call paso,
yes.
the simultaneous, etc.,
yes.
have become the first round,
yes.
and what originally was meant to be the first round on October 27 has become really just the ballotage. Because if, let's make a mental experiment, if the Kirchnerista formula, Kirchnerista with many allies and many...
more of a centre-left sort of arrangement.
Yeah, centre-left prevails with, let's say, 5 or 6 percentage points now in the PASO this Sunday. That means that if they are practically on the edge of winning in the first round.
Is that a prediction, Atilio?
I think it is, yes, with some notes of caution still, but I feel that the sentiment in the population is that they are very angry with the government. Look, this is a government which has lied as no other government in Argentina. It's incredible. I review the main statements of President Macri in the past, and I say, how come this man has not fulfilled one of the promises he made in the campaign? And it will be very long to know, but you have
it's a very large list, isn't it?
Yeah, very, very, very. He said that the test of his government would be his ability to curb inflation and reduce the number of the poor. Yes. And he proved to be absolutely unable. The inflation rate under his mandate doubled the inflation rate of President Cristina Fernandez. And of course, the number of poor people increased substantially in Argentina during his mandate. This is just to mention one. The collapse of the real salary, the pensions, the absolute lack of investments in basic infrastructure, and of course an incredible process of indebtedness of the country, in which now we have a huge foreign debt, and when he received the country was practically without any foreign debt. So,
yeah, one of Macri's big fans, which is surprise, surprise, Mario Vargas Llosa,
yes,
sat down with him earlier this year, and they had a bit of a chat there on a stage. And when Mario Vargas Llosa asked Mauricio Macri what he would do if he garnered a re-election, Mauricio Macri said, I'd do exactly the same, but I'd do it quicker.
Quicker, exactly, quicker. The idea is that he has been walking too slowly, and that now he's going to speed up the process.
Too slowly, according to whom?
To him. And to some people in the International Monetary Fund.
Yes.
He wanted 2 or 3 basic structural changes in the economy, which proceeded very, very slowly and in an incomplete fashion.
So that would mean there'd be frustration in the dominant powers of Argentina and externally as well.
Yes, and they are now struggling to be able to establish a profound labor reform, which is an euphemism, which goes basically will be a series of laws and regulations aimed at weakening in a drastic manner the power of the labor union, and including the increase in the number of weekly hours to be worked. For instance, like in Chile, which is a scandal, in this country, in Chile, where we are doing this interview, the legal working hour per week is 45 years, which is something incredible. This is
that'd be one of the largest ones in the OECD for sure.
Yes, and so this is what he wants to do: a labor reform and also a reform of the pension system, privatizing the pension system, which have failed in a scandalous manner in Chile. When I mean fail for the beneficiaries, but was a fantastic source of profits and capital accumulation for the people who took control of those huge funds, which are workers' funds.
Everything indicates that Alberto Fernandez will be Argentina's next president. But there are a lot of analysts and experts in Argentina which are already saying that it seems like the dominant forces in Argentina, knowing that this could very well happen, are already starting to draw a line in the sand.
Yes, of course. The next government will be a government that will have to fight under very, very severe circumstances with an economic situation extremely delicate, and I think that Alberto Fernandez is not precisely a radical or a person which is very fond of promoting the deep social and economic reforms. But the network of social forces which is supporting him will press very, very hard, because the situation, the legacy of the Macri years is a terrible legacy, and whether he likes it or not, Fernandez will have to do some very radical moves in order to reestablish a given equilibrium in Argentina society and defuse the potential for an social outburst which could be extremely violent in our country.
And how do you predict the more moderate forces in that centre-left coalition to react to that?
I would say that if they act rationally, they will have to support the Fernandez formula. We have no other option.
But once they are in power, I mean.
Well, that will be another battle, another scenario of battle and confrontation, very, very strong. There is no question. In other words, we have entered in a phase in which contradiction, conflict, dispute, debates, and arguments regarding where to go in order to solve the crisis will be at the order of the day. There is no question that. Well, that will make our political life more amusing than that we have today.
It will be very interesting. It is fair to say that 2020, whoever it is that wins the presidency this year, whether it be Macri or Fernandez, will be a very difficult year for the Argentine people.
Absolutely, and it will demand enormous efforts to try to put Argentina together in the path of development, growth, and income redistribution, investment in social structure, investment in education, science and technology, which have been completely erased out of the budget by the President Macri. So we have an uphill road ahead, whoever is the president.
Okay, so you heard it there from Atilio Boron. Whoever wins this election will face a very difficult country and a very difficult country to govern when come next year. 2020 will be a very difficult country indeed to govern come 2020, according there to Atilio Boron. Let's have a look at some of the media outlets in Argentina at the moment and see what it is that they're reporting. This is Clarín, the newspaper there, and the big multimedia conglomerate, which has a very much a centre-right to right-wing bias. Its editorial line has traditionally always been very far to the right, and more so than that, even it could be very fair to say very much against anything that has to do with the Kirchnerite governments between 2003 and 2015, thus meaning that the coalition headed, as you can see here, by Alberto Fernandez, not the coalition which Clarín does support through its editorial line. It has a editorial line which has traditionally, as I said before, been very, very biased towards Mauricio Macri. So what we can see here are 87.2% of the votes counted thus far, and the results are quite astounding. 47.32% to Alberto Fernandez of the Frente de Todos, which is the centre-left coalition, which in English means the Coalition for All, or the Front for All. In second place, Mauricio Macri, the incumbent president of Argentina, who is on the centre-right ticket of Juntos para el Cambio, which in English means Together for Change, 32.3% of the votes there. Roberto Lavagna comes in third place in his centrist coalition, which is the Consenso Federal or Federal Consensus Coalition, 8.36. And in fourth position, Nicolás del Caño, who represents the coalition of Trotskyist parties right on the left of the political spectrum in Argentina, 2.89%. And let's scroll down and see what Clarín has on its front page when it's just going past midnight in Argentina at the moment. Alberto Fernandez, change, real change was us. The real change in Argentina was us, says Alberto Fernandez. The winner of the primary elections spoke to the nation, and he said, "We are building the new Argentina." He said that less than an hour ago. And it says here that Alberto Fernandez is in front by 15 percentage points over Mauricio Macri. We knew during the week, only a handful of days ago, that the government's own polling had it in a very dire position, according to its own polls, which they obviously did not release to the media, but we do have some very good sources which were able to report that according to the government's own polling, they were 8 points behind. Little did they know then that it seems like it's nearly double that. 15 points separates the government from the centre-left coalition, the Front for All. Now, it must be said that the elections which are being held in Argentina today are not final elections. They're not general elections. They are primaries. They're open, simultaneous, and mandatory elections, which means that by law, by the electoral law of Argentina, everyone must go to the polls on a day like today, on these PASO elections. That's the acronym in Spanish for what I just said before, this primary election, which is simultaneous, mandatory, and open to all coalitions. They must go to this election, whether they have more than one ticket or not in their coalition. And if this trend continues until the general election, which is on October 27th, everything indicates that the man that you can see on your screen there, Alberto Fernandez, will be Argentina's next president. Let's have a look what the centre-left newspaper in Argentina, Página 12, is reporting. And they're obviously reporting on what Alberto Fernandez said in his address to the nation. "We have come to create a better Argentina," is what Alberto Fernandez has said. And down here they go on to say that Alberto Fernandez's lead over the incumbent President Mauricio Macri is a very broad one. The Front for All is winning this primary election. And next to that story there, you can see a little emoji of a crying cat there. You might be scratching your head wondering, why is there an emoji of a crying cat here on this news outlet's website? Well, that's because Macri has been nicknamed the cat ever since he's been elected as president by the masses in Argentina. They call him the cat. It's a despective way of referring to him in Argentina. When someone is thought of as a sneaky person, or thought of as someone who is very sneaky, I think is the best way to put it. Or cunning is also another good way to put it as well. If you're sneaky and cunning in Argentina, you get called a cat by people, and that's why millions of people in Argentina refer to their president as the cat. They call him El Gato. So that's why Página 12 has chosen to use that image there. And they're reporting that Mauricio Macri, the incumbent president of Argentina, has admitted he's conceded this election. He's conceded that he's been defeated vastly. And we'll click into that link just shortly, because what they're promising there is a minute-by-minute, play-by-play analysis of this election. So we'll have a look at that after. Next to that, you can see there Mauricio Macri as he walked off the stage tonight. And below that it says, the speech in which Macri confessed his defeat. And his quote there, which says, "We have had a bad election. We have had a bad election," he said when he took the stage about 10:30 p.m. Argentine local time this Sunday night to concede defeat. Another big election today, because it must be said that in Argentina, the other primary elections were held simultaneously. When we say the other primary elections, we're talking about the elections in each of the 24 provinces of Argentina. That's actually quite incorrect what I just said. Many of the provinces in Argentina went to the polls today. Some had already had their elections earlier in the year, and Argentina's biggest province, where 16 million people reside in, which is the province of Buenos Aires, had its election today, and had its primary election today. And what we could see was that the candidate of the centre-left front for the Everybody's Front, Axel Kicillof, which you can see over here in this picture there, he also had a resounding win over the incumbent governor of that province, which also belongs to Macri's coalition, Macri's right-wing coalition. That's Maria Eugenia Vidal, very criticised by the men and women of the Buenos Aires province. And she has also been greatly defeated at the ballot box tonight. Axel Kicillof, former treasurer of Argentina, he went to this election as being above in every single polls throughout the whole campaign, and all those polls got it absolutely right. He's won this primary election in astonishing fashion, and change has arrived again to Buenos Aires, is what that headline says there. More elections as well in Argentina. Another district which had its primary elections was the city of Buenos Aires, and the city of Buenos Aires, must be said, has it's traditionally and historically been one of the strongholds of the centre-right and right coalitions of Argentina, and today was not an exception. They have won the re-election there in the city of Buenos Aires, the Argentine national capital. The centre-right or right-wing candidate there, Larreta, he has won, but the swing against him was quite astonishing, and we can have a look at that a little bit later as well. Let's go to the broadsheet which the city of Buenos Aires has, which is the La Nación newspaper. It has traditionally also had a conservative right-wing editorial line, and at the top of their website here, which is lanacion.com.ar, they are showing the results, which you can see on your screen there. Front for all, 47.32. Let's go back there. The president, there we go, 47.32 of the votes, when 87.97, so 88% of the votes have been counted, just past midnight in Argentina. And in second place there, Mauricio Macri and the centre-right coalition, Together for Change, 32.28%. That's just over 15%, the margin between first and second place. As you heard in that interview just a few moments ago, which we had with Atilio Barón yesterday, he was predicting a 6% margin. The more conservative polls were showing a 4% margin. The more optimistic polls in favour of the centre-left opposition were showing a margin of 8%. Everyone got it wrong. It's much more than that. 15.4% is the margin between 15.04, thank you very much, Ruben, for that. 15.04% being the margin between the first and second place, an absolute landslide of votes to the Front for All coalition headed by Alberto Fernandez. In third place, should I say, Roberto Lavagna there with his centrist coalition, the Federal Consensus Coalition, garnering 8.35% of the votes. Fourth place, Nicolás del Caño, who represents the ultra-left-wing coalition made up of Trotskyist parties, 2.88%. Fifth place is the NOS Front, which is a conservative, very far on the right coalition, headed there by Gómez Centurión, 2.63%. In fifth place, more of a liberal right-wing option here, headed by an economist by the name of José Luis Espert, 2.22% of the votes. In position number 6, the only woman, should I say, who is a candidate to the presidency in Argentina in these elections, Manuela Castañeda, 0.71%. She's a part of the movement towards socialism, and she's garnered 0.71% of the votes. And then in 7th position, the Patriotic Front, led by a neo-Nazi, led by a man who is on the ultra-right wing of the political spectrum, Biondini, 0.24% of the votes. And on your screen there, the two small options of 0.15 and 0.11% of the votes, respectively. let's go and have a look at what the main headline of the La Nación newspaper is when it's just 12 minutes past midnight in Argentina at the moment. Alberto Fernandez, the concept of vengeance and the big divide in our society is coming to an end, is what Alberto Fernandez said in his address to the nation as he took the stage tonight. The concept of vengeance and the concept of this big divide in our country is coming to an end. We'll be also consulting the news on the TV and see what local news outlets in Argentina are saying in just a moment. We're about to set that up. Thank you very much for being on the other side there. We've got quite a few viewers who are tuning in tonight, eager to know what is happening in Argentina. Astounding. 15% margin between option 1 and option 2. The government led by Mauricio Macri, the centre-right wing government, which has been leading the reins in Argentina for the past 4 years, looks like is commencing to depart power. And very rightly so, because things in Argentina have been very, very difficult indeed. If you've read anything about Argentina, it's the peso. Its currency has plummeted in the last 4 years, which has also meant that has greatly impacted on the purchasing power of Argentines. Argentina has one of the highest, or if not, sorry, I'll start again. It has the highest interest rates in the world at the moment, hovering 60 to 70% per annum, and that's just the baseline, which is the one that's put in place by the Central Reserve Bank of Argentina. Obviously, that means that the interest rate on your average credit card in Argentina is a 3-digit interest rate over 100%, which is absolutely incredible, isn't it? And so this is the context in which Mauricio Macri has gone into this election. Terrible inflation in Argentina, which is also hovering around 50%. There was a very good report released by an Argentine university last week, which spoke about the 50 economic indicators which are in the red for the Mauricio Macri government. So all of this is the precedent to understand this result tonight. It seems like the people of Argentina are sick and tired of these high interest rates, of this plummeting of the Argentine peso, of the absolutely incredible decrease of their purchasing power. They've said enough's enough, and they've awarded the centre-left with an astonishing win in these primary elections tonight. 15% is the margin between the centre-left coalition, which is in front in these elections. The trend is obviously irreversible. It is absolutely fair to say that the centre-left opposition in Argentina has won these primary elections, which means that it sets it up very, very well in order to arrive at the general election in over 2 months' time on the 27th of October. Let's have a look and see what the mainstream media in Argentina on the TV is reporting.
Buenos Aires, que es donde mejor le fue a Rodríguez Larreta, pero hoy estaría para él sí para un balotaje.
Para un balotaje.
Porque ahora
un escenario impensado para
ahora un
Larreta.
escenario impensado y Lames ahí tiene una oportunidad de disputarle hasta el territorio madre, digamos, del PRO.
So this is C5N, which is the highest rating news channel in Argentina. And they're obviously talking about the very, very big defeat of the government tonight in Argentina. So they're reporting at the moment the results on the bottom of your screen there. There's the results on the bottom of your screen of that election in the province of Buenos Aires, which we were talking about a little before. Very good result there by the Front for All, Kicillof there, 49.22%. And those results which you can see on the bottom of the screen at the moment, City of Buenos Aires, centre-right coalition, which has always had held the City of Buenos Aires as its stronghold, 46.33%, but a very good election by the centre-left coalition with 32%, a very big swing against the government also there in the City of Buenos Aires. And there you go, there's the election results of the presidential primaries at a national scale, 47.32% to Fernandez. And we can see here that C5N has just crossed live to the Front for All headquarters, the centre-left coalition headquarters in Argentina. And we're going to listen into what they say. I'll be translating in real time. So stand by. Felipe Solá is now talking to C5N. He says it's an unforgettable result. In the worst case scenario, this is a win by more or less 13 percentage points, so this could not be better for the government, for the opposition, I should say.
Caminar. Yo el jueves a la noche terminamos la campaña sintiendo que había una ola.
He says that on Thursday, when the campaign came to an end, they could feel very much a deep sense of change.
La alegría es enorme y le agradezco a Dios de haber podido ver esto.
Says that they're very, very happy in the centre-left
y a partir de ahora hay que pensar muy bien, porque no se trata de seguir la campaña electoral como si nada, sino de empezar a pensar el país que viene y empezar a trabajar para eso.
La última, y lo dejo con mis compañeros, ¿qué le dijo hoy la Argentina al gobierno o parte de la ciudadanía al gobierno de Mauricio Macri? ¿Qué mensaje le dio?
No me mientas más, la realidad es más fuerte que todo el marketing.
Carla, Diego, nos está escuchando Felipe Solá.
Solá, muchas gracias por estar allí y por tener este contacto con nosotros. Le pregunto cómo imagina la transición de aquí a octubre, o si quiere, de esto estábamos hablando recién en el piso, de aquí hasta diciembre, porque como decíamos, los números han sido contundentes.
Yo imagino que no se trata de volver a hacer campaña electoral como si no hubiera pasado nada o de la misma manera, porque ahora también nosotros vamos a estar preocupados por la situación argentina, la situación que podemos heredar, cómo llegamos al 27 de octubre bien, y eso digamos, nos obliga a nosotros a comenzar ya a conversar, establecer vínculos, dialogar con todos los sectores de la producción, con los sectores que nos queremos y con los sectores que no queremos mucho, pero que están, son argentinos, conversar del futuro, es decir, empezar a trabajar. La campaña debe ser trabajo pensando en el futuro.
La transición tiene que empezar ahora mismo, Felipe, porque desde el gobierno dieron a entender, sobre todo después del mensaje de Macri, aceptando la derrota avasallante, Carrió a continuación hizo una suerte de arenga de estamos acostumbrados a arrancar de atrás, nunca de tan atrás, queda clarísimo esto, pero dando a entender que en octubre tienen otra chance. ¿Ustedes creen que la transición es ahora?
Nosotros pensamos que la campaña electoral nuestra no se trata ya de seguirla en la misma forma con este dato que nos ha dado el pueblo argentino. Se trata de entender que el dato es que mucha gente no aguanta más. Entonces hay que empezar a preparar ya una Argentina que debe cambiar. Uno va a seguir haciendo campaña electoral, pero de otra manera.
Crazily enough, they're optimistic that even though they're 15 percentage points behind tonight, that they could turn this around come October.
El cierre de decenas de miles de pymes. El tema ahora es empezar ya a tejer cómo vamos a arreglar eso, mientras hacemos campaña.
Como ex gobernador de la provincia de Buenos Aires, Solá, le pregunto, esos 17 puntos de diferencia que sacó Axel Kicillof, ¿qué mensaje le dan a la gobernadora Vidal y al gobierno nacional?
Algo dije antes, que no es cuestión de abusar del marketing cuando la realidad es otra cosa. Por suerte, Perón, que nos estará mirando a algún lado, dijo una vez, la única verdad es la realidad. La realidad del pueblo de la provincia de Buenos Aires, sobre todo del conurbano y de los conurbanos del interior, Mar del Plata, Bahía Blanca, etcétera, es una realidad muy dura. Entonces el marketing se cae y llega a irritar. Y yo creo que buena parte de las cosas fueron esas. Acusar a los últimos 70 años, a los últimos 30 años, pensar que todo es una cuestión de banderías, de que ser peronista era digamos, sinónimo de ser ladrón o de condenar a Argentina al atraso, mientras se tapaba todo lo que pasaba. Yo creo que la respuesta es ni Big Data, ni manoseo de la información, ni noticias falsas o fake news, ni abuso del marketing. Gobernar, que es muy distinto.
Hasta hace poco las encuestas mostraban a la fórmula de Fernández, igual que Kicillof, arriba del oficialismo, no por tanta diferencia. Y a muchos les sorprendía cómo la candidatura de Mauricio Macri se sostenía a pesar de la economía. Y hoy, bueno, ya con los resultados a la vista, queda claro que no había mucha candidatura. Es decir, ¿cuánto afectó la economía a este resultado que estamos viendo ahora?
Mire, la economía se empezó a embromar el año... La economía estuvo muy mal el 16, mejoró en el 17, muy mal en el 18 y pésimo en el 19. Ya estaba hecho el daño. Lo que creo es que lo que tenemos que pensar también es, primero, que hay mucha gente que no dice por quién va a votar. Y sobre todo esas encuestas telefónicas que la gente no contesta. Me ha pasado a mí, le ha pasado a ustedes, de no contestar, no querer, no tener tiempo. No. Entonces había mucho camelo también. Es una Argentina que a veces parece que si uno contrata una encuesta consigue el resultado que quiere. Entonces siempre hay que empezar a dudar eso. La gente se está poniendo más inteligente y en muchos casos reserva su opinión y espera y mira y piensa cómo estoy ahora y cómo estaba hace 4 años. Eso ha sido determinante.
Solá, ustedes lo habían advertido y de hecho hasta hicieron presentaciones judiciales ante las probables irregularidades que iba a haber en el conteo provisional de los votos. Hoy, lamentablemente, esas sospechas se confirmaron y sucedió algo inédito, ¿no? Un presidente de la nación que sale a admitir la derrota sin datos oficiales.
Yo creo que ahí, frente a la dimensión de la derrota, hubo desconcierto interno y ese desconcierto interno provocó que, en lugar de hacer las cosas normalmente, primero un ministro y el presidente y dar a conocer los resultados y todo, las cosas se hicieron de esta manera. Lo voy a decir de esta manera, y dejando a salvo a algunos miembros del gabinete. El presidente no ha sabido perder.
¿Cree que fue a propósito la demora que hubo, más allá de esta orden de la jueza electoral de esperar el 10% de 4 distritos? ¿Creo que hubo algo más en esa demora que incluso hizo que Macri hable antes?
Creo que un sector del gobierno, el que está más cerca del presidente y del propio presidente, pensaron, si hay 3 puntos de diferencia, podemos manejar el tema como lo manejaron en el 2017 en la provincia de Buenos Aires. Pero cuando la diferencia es de 15 puntos para arriba, es abrumadora, entonces el tema se pone difícil. Por eso, ante la retención de los datos, nosotros salimos a decir, den los datos, porque si no vamos a dar nosotros lo que tenemos y lo que no corresponde. Pero lo teníamos, estábamos preparados para una situación así. De todas maneras, hubo un sector del gobierno, el Ministerio de Interior, que no reaccionó mal, reaccionó bien, como se debía.
Es decir, que ustedes, Solá, no creen que hubo un problema de carga de datos, sino que hubo una retención voluntaria por parte del gobierno.
En un momento dado lo pensamos y tuvimos una hora casi sin datos, sin ningún dato, sin carga de datos, y teníamos derecho a pensarlo. Si ocurrió o no, no sé, creo, intuyo que ha habido una pelea ahí adentro. Unos querían una cosa y otros otra. Otros querían decir la verdad.
Y la última pregunta, Felipe. Usted recién hablaba acerca de la importancia de la economía. Entre otras cosas, subió la pobreza en los últimos años en la Argentina. ¿Qué cambió en estos últimos 2 años? En el 2017 usted dijo que hubo una mejora de la economía, después volvimos a la realidad. Justo en el 2017, en la provincia de Buenos Aires, Esteban Bullrich le ganó a Cristina Fernández de Kirchner. ¿Qué pasó en estos 2 años?
Empeoró terriblemente la economía. Entendieron la victoria parcial del 2017 como un guiño de ojo de la gente a sigan haciendo ajustes. Entonces siguieron haciendo ajustes y terminaron yendo al Fondo Monetario. Acuérdense de digamos, la crisis del dólar en el otoño del año pasado.
Sí, las corridas.
En abril-mayo, la corrida bancaria y acuérdense de cómo se entregaron enseguida. Rompieron el vidrio en caso de auxilio y fueron al fondo, y a partir de ahí les pareció que lo del fondo no había que discutirlo nada, había que hacer todo lo del fondo. Tal es así que Alberto al final hablaba a nuestro candidato y le contestó, alguna vez llegó a contestarle el jefe del hemisferio occidental del Fondo Monetario Internacional. Es decir, perdieron toda idea de lo que es la más mínima soberanía o independencia en materia económica.
Okay, so we're back on air. We took a bit of a break there. So what we could see here is an astonishing result in Argentina. We're just going to restart now and try and have a look and see what some of the mainstream media outlets are saying in Argentina. Also have a look at some alternative news outlets and see what they're saying as well. Let's also have a look at some of the news outlets in English, such as New York Times, BBC, and so forth. So I'm just going to bring that up on the screen now. This is Clarín, the Buenos Aires Daily, with, as we were saying before, has historic centre-right towards the right conservative editorial line. And obviously the results, which you can see there, 47 to 32. Alberto Fernandez, the change was us, not them. Obviously talking about the name of the coalition which the centre-right has, which is the coalition's name is Together for Change. So playing around with those words there and saying change was us, not them. And the candidate to the presidency, Alberto Fernandez, spoke at his headquarters of the Front for All, and said, "We are building a new Argentina." And there's a photo of that moment, which was a little bit after 10:30 local Argentine time tonight. Fernandez is leading by 15 points over Mauricio Macri. Results giving the Front for All a very broad advantage, which is well over now 47% of the votes. We've had a very bad election, said President Macri. The election, play-by-play. The winner of the primary elections, Alberto Fernandez of the centre-left Front for All coalition, said tonight that, "I think Argentina has heard the message." And Macri conceding defeat. "We've had a very bad election," he said in his address to the nation. Axel Kicillof had a very good election as well in the all-important Buenos Aires province. When we say all-important Buenos Aires province, we say that because it is the largest province of Argentina, with a whopping 15 million, or at least 15 million inhabitants in that jurisdiction. It is also the province which is considered by experts as the manufacturing powerhouse of the Argentine economy, where the centre-left and the Peronist movement has always held as one of its strongholds, except for the last 4 years where the centre-right has governed that province. And just as the indicators have been shown at the national federal level, the same story applies to the province of Buenos Aires. High inflation, very low numbers of investment in social infrastructure, education and health, and obviously the men and women of the province of Buenos Aires have made their point very clear. Kicillof winning very, very well in the province of Buenos Aires, and he spoke to his faithful tonight, and he said the people of the Buenos Aires province have not thrown in the towel just yet. They know that if the centre-left coalition comes back into power in that almighty province of Argentina, things for them could be much, much better indeed. Kicillof is beating his opponent, Maria Eugenia Vidal, of the right-wing coalition Together for Change, by 16.4 percentage points, which is a very big margin. We've got two huge results in Argentina tonight. Mauricio Macri, the government, has lost these primary elections in a landslide. 15% is the margin between the government and the opposition tonight, and if this trend continues, come October, the opposition will re-win government, come back into government after one term, and 2.5 months until that point in time. We'll see if that trend continues. What has to be said, surely, is that very, very uphill battle for the government to turn this around. 15 percentage points, a whopping result, as we were saying earlier. More optimistic polls were indicating that the opposition would be 8 percentage points in front. The more conservative ones were saying that 4 points would be the margin. It's turned out to be 15, and same applies for the province of Buenos Aires, where the margin there is 16.4%. Cristina Fernandez, former president of Argentina and currently candidate to be vice president of Argentina alongside her running mate Alberto Fernandez, is not in Buenos Aires tonight. She's in Rio Gallegos, which is a city in the far southern end of Argentina, right down in the Patagonia, where her late husband, Nestor Kirchner, was natively from. And she could not to Buenos Aires tonight to appear on stage with her running mate. Why? Well, because the recession, the economic recession in Argentina is so great that the flights from the southern city of Rio Gallegos to Buenos Aires have been cut. The frequency of flights are very, very low, and she could not take a flight which would get her from Rio Gallegos to Buenos Aires tonight, and she instead has posted a video from her residency in Rio Gallegos in the far southern end of Argentina. We'll get to that, but I think we're having some technical problems with our broadcast here at the moment. We're going to touch base and see if we can get this fixed up ASAP. But so stand by there for us for a few moments. Okay, seems like everything seems to be okay. So we'll continue on with this broadcast. As we were saying, Cristina Fernandez and her recorded message via her social media accounts of the country. Let's listen in and see what it is that she said. We'll get that audio fixed up. Just one moment. And here we go again.
Creo que es muy importante porque se viene desarrollando afortunadamente desde la Argentina democrática nuestras elecciones sin inconvenientes ni dificultades. Toda la gente yendo a votar. Así que felicitaciones para todos y todas.
So, congratulating everyone for this astounding defeat of the government tonight.
Y también un agradecimiento muy, pero muy, muy grande a todos los hombres y mujeres, jóvenes, mayores, a todos y a todas las que han apoyado esta propuesta del Frente de Todos.
Cristina Fernandez has also thanked men, women and the youth of Argentina for supporting the victorious tonight opposition, the Front for All, a centre-left coalition, which has won in a landslide these primary elections tonight.
Realmente los números que estamos teniendo de las mesas testigo, de las bocas de urna, que son absolutamente coincidentes las unas con las otras, inclusive las mesas testigos nos dan por arriba de los que fueron los resultados de las bocas de urnas, nos hace ponernos muy contentos, muy optimistas. Pero no solamente porque ganamos una elección, esto no se trata de un partido de fútbol.
Just go back a little bit there because I was just interrupted.
Nos dan por arriba de los que fueron los resultados de las bocas de urnas, nos hace ponernos muy contentos, muy optimistas. Pero no solamente porque ganamos una elección, esto no se trata de un partido de fútbol.
She says that those in her coalition are very, very happy and very optimistic tonight of what's ahead, but not because they've won. They're not seeing this defeat as one would see it as like a sporting one or a football result. No. She says it's much more important and that they have to be very responsible at this time with this result.
Sino precisamente nos pone contentos, alegres y optimistas que muchos argentinos y muchas argentinas comprendan y apoyen finalmente que las cosas deben cambiar en la República Argentina porque así como estamos, no estamos bien.
She says that the people have spoken and the message they've picked up from the ballot box tonight is that people have come to the conclusion that the country is not in a good way and that things have to start to change.
No estamos viviendo bien, no estamos tranquilos. Creo que en gran parte los argentinos y las argentinas hemos dejado de ser felices.
She says that Argentine men and women in the framework of the government, which has been in power for the last 4 years in Argentina, have stopped being a happy people and that it's time to change.
Son demasiado grandes las dificultades, demasiado grandes las tensiones. Por eso quiero agradecer a todos aquellos que apoyaron y creyeron en esta propuesta del Frente de Todos. Quiero también dirigirme al gobierno nacional.
So before thanking everyone once again for this resounding result at the ballot box tonight, she has a message for the government, she says.
Especialmente al Ministerio del Interior, que es el responsable institucional en el manejo de las elecciones, también al señor presidente de la República.
A message which she is directing at the Minister of Interior, who is in charge of all things in relation to the elections, to the electoral system, and to the broadcast of electoral data out of the Argentine Electoral Commission, and also a message to the President of Argentina,
al señor jefe de gabinete,
to the Chief of Staff,
al señor jefe de gobierno de la Ciudad de Buenos Aires y a la señora gobernadora de la provincia de Buenos Aires, y en especial a ellos cuatro porque...
and also to the Governor of the Buenos Aires province and the Mayor of the City of Buenos Aires. She says that her message is for...
si sea la conducción o la dirección de lo que hoy podemos denominar el espacio.
She says she's mentioning them because they are the leaders of the government today.
Del gobierno. Quiero pedirles a ellos que por favor
She'd like to ask them to please
no vuelva a ocurrir lo que ocurrió en el año 2017.
She is asking them that the occurrences of the 2017 elections do not happen ever again. And just a note of context here, in 2017, the elections, the midterm elections, the data of those elections were not released for about 10 to 14 days after the election. And the only data which the government at that time had released was provisional and temporary data of the election on the night, which favoured the government. And 2 weeks later, when the official recount of the election was made as required by law, what was revealed was that the government had in fact lost that election. Christina is obviously saying this in this recorded message about 2 or 3 hours ago, when no official information was being released by the Argentine Electoral Commission, and there were grave fears at that time that the occurrences of 2017 were about to happen all over again. Let's continue to listen to what she's saying.
Los números que tenemos son muy amplios. Acabo de hablar también con gobernadores, acabo de hablar con nuestra candidata a gobernadora en la provincia de Mendoza, donde nos dice que hemos ganado una provincia que normalmente no teníamos buenos resultados.
Very interesting what she's saying then, what she's mentioning, and what we have not mentioned tonight in this broadcast is that the results which are coming in nationwide are very, very good results for the opposition. But what we did not mention, and Cristina Fernandez just did, is that one of the government's strongholds, which is the western province of Mendoza, which is on the Chilean border, they lost there tonight. The government lost one of its main strongholds, the province of Mendoza, and the result there for the opposition, an incredible one.
Hemos ganado también en la provincia de Mendoza las elecciones, y así podría enumerar un montón de comunicaciones con gobernadores de todas las provincias.
Yeah, she's saying there that she's spoken to many of the different governors, opposition governors around the country, and all of which are reporting very interesting and strong swings towards the opposition in this election today.
Lo que realmente nos pone muy optimistas y muy felices. Por eso quiero pedirles, en virtud de todo lo que ha tomado Estado público y notorio respecto de contrataciones de empresas nuevas, y sobre todo teniendo en cuenta la experiencia que nos tocó vivir personalmente cuando fui candidata a senadora por la provincia de Buenos Aires en el año 2017. Allí la diferencia en la PASO fue de medio punto en nuestras mesas testigos, y luego esto se repitió en el escrutinio. Sin embargo, todos recordarán aquella noche cuando el presidente la gobernadora, el jefe de gobierno y la plana mayor de la dirigencia de Cambiemos bailó frente a las cámaras de televisión y ante los ojos de millones de argentinos festejando un triunfo.
And it must be said that there was somewhat tampering with the election results tonight. The polling stations closed at 6 p.m. and we got the first official results at 10, 4 hours
realmente reconocieran que habían perdido. Nosotros, que sabíamos que habíamos ganado por medio punto, no quisimos plantear una discusión esa noche porque medio punto de diferencia siempre puede dar lugar a que haya errores de un lado y del otro. Pero acá los números no son ni de medio punto, ni de 2, ni de 3, ni de 4, ni de 5. Entonces, lo que les pido es que esta noche se conozca el número verdadero, no por nosotros, sino por todos los argentinos y las argentinas que fueron a emitir su voto, y son ellos, no nosotros, no el Frente de Todos, los argentinos y las argentinas que fueron a votar. Cualquiera haya sido su voto, tienen derecho a conocer y saber cuál es la voluntad popular en su país, en la República Argentina. Así que yo les pido encarecidamente a ellos, como responsables políticos, que procuren que esta noche se conozca el número verdadero que el Frente de Todos ha obtenido en estas elecciones. Dicho esto, quiero también finalmente dirigirme una vez más a todos y a todas, independientemente de cuál haya sido su voto hoy en las urnas, para decirles que estamos absolutamente conscientes del difícil momento que está atravesando el país y sobre todo la difícil situación de millones de argentinos y de argentinas, algunos que han perdido.
Okay, so Christina there, making a special mention of the conscience of those in the centre-left Front for All coalition in terms of their knowledge of just how badly things are for the Argentine people at the moment, and that they are very optimistic and very eager to step back into government to commence to repair the situation of the people in Argentina.
El trabajo, otros que no tienen dónde vivir, los que no les...
She mentions there a lot of people have lost their jobs and a lot of people have also lost their homes as a result of the policies of the Mauricio Macri government.
Cansa para llegar a fin de mes, o los que apenas llegando ya no pueden ni siquiera darse un gusto. Lo hemos charlado con tantos y con tantas.
She says that they're aware of this situation and that they have spoken about the problems that Argentine men and women are facing in their campaign trail, and that they're very well aware of what's happening.
Durante tanto tiempo que sabemos de qué se trata. Y esto, lejos de ponernos felices únicamente por el triunfo, nos da la responsabilidad de que también sabemos que tenemos que llegar a todos y a todas, a los que nos votaron y a los que no nos votaron, y darles la tranquilidad absoluta en cuanto a la responsabilidad con que afrontaremos esta nueva etapa, que yo espero que a partir del 10 de diciembre signifique un encuentro y un reencuentro de todos los argentinos. Nos faltan 2 meses más, estas son las PASO, pero es una manifestación de voluntad muy importante la del pueblo argentino. Más que nada...
She says she's aware that these are just primary elections and that there's still another 2 months before the general elections of October 27, but that these results are very important and these are very astounding results indeed.
Es una voz que debe ser escuchada por todos, por los que somos destinatarios de lo que podría denominarse un triunfo, pero también una voz que debe ser escuchada por el gobierno. Todos debemos escuchar, en definitiva, la voz de las urnas para intentar, una vez más, que la Argentina vuelva a tener las posibilidades de ser una sociedad mejor, más feliz, más tranquila. Desde acá, desde Río Gallegos, los abrazo muy fuerte a todos y a todas. Muchas gracias.
So Christina there, talking about her impression of this result tonight, mentioning just how important the result tonight is for the country and how much of a strong result it is in the lead up to the elections on October the 27th. Let's have a look at what the media is reporting at the moment in Argentina. We'll flip over now to A24, which is a network which has very much of a centre-right editorial line. Let's see what they're saying at this time.
Sereno.
Además,
tranquilo, no dispuesto a pelear. No creo que
¿Cuál?
se haya preparado especialmente si no
Además,
tiene algún dato
Mónica,
interesante.
todas las figuras que ya fueron al búnker de Frente para Todos, que son muchos. Massa,
Todos.
que siempre olfatea.
Exacto. Hoy lo que se discute, Massa, Facundo Mayano, Matías Lamens, Socosa, Mariana Galmarini,
Ahora hay que ver
Vicky
que
Donda. Hoy lo
es
que
muy bueno
discutimos-
para ellos, porque la verdad que acá de lo que... A ver, todas las encuestas daban que
claro,
el
la
frente de
diferencia.
todos va adelante, en todos lados.
No todas,
Bueno,
ahí de mentira.
Casi
Casi todas, perdón.
No.
De lo que se está hablando es de la diferencia.
Aguantemos, faltan 40 minutos y
¿Qué
damos
pasa?
número.
¿Qué pasa si estas elecciones, yo lo vi a Alberto Fernández, y además nosotros cubrimos muchas elecciones, hemos visto muchas semblantes que cambiaban, iba, volvía.
Claro.
Hemos metido, yo creo que poco, pero algunos, pero podíamos haber metido la pata tranquilamente, porque ya de tantas elecciones que tenemos, podemos haber metido la pata. ¿Qué pasa si con el semblante de Alberto Fernández estas elecciones terminan con un -4 para María Eugenia Vidal y -4 para Mauricio Macri?
Triunfo del gobierno.
Vos decís que se puede revertir.
Bueno,
o sea,
-4 y -4.
So who you just saw on your screen there,
¿Cuál es la diferencia para considerar
fellow called
Es un buen
Luis Majul, who is one of the
para el candidato peronista.
one of the most biased reporters or journalists towards the government, saying that this result, which is quite astonishing, 15% between the government and the opposition, according to him, the government still has time between now and the 27th of October to reverse this result.
Cada candidato. ¿Saben cuánto sumó Daniel Scioli cuando fue luego a la segunda instancia con Macri?
se fue de vacaciones después de las PASO.
60.000 votos, 60.000 votos. Es difícil perforar el techo. Les hago una pregunta a ustedes que saben mucho de matemática.
Sí.
¿Cuánto es las 2/3 partes de Argentina? Como dijo...
iba a hacer ese cálculo.
¿Cuánto es?
66%.
All right,
34.
we've just come to the realization, as you can see there, you can't see it, but this is actually old footage. So apologies for that. It's a lot earlier tonight.
Antonio, perdón.
We'll switch over. Okay, they're off air at the moment. So apologies for this. We're doing this two-man band here, seeing what's happening and what's not. Let's have a look and see if we have any other television networks on air at the moment. Everyone seems to have shut shop tonight because, as you can imagine, it's such an astounding victory for the opposition. There's not much more to report. Here we go. Here's some live images coming in from Buenos Aires. C5N, this is a network, the highest rating news network in Argentina, which has a center-left editorial line.
Páginas de los bancos que ya tienen cotizaciones por encima de lo que,
Claro.
había quedado el viernes pasado. Es una vergüenza.
Sí, claro, porque además, viste, hay mercados a futuro, hay compras internacionales. Esto que pasó el viernes, que las acciones aumentaron extrañamente, que hubieron algunas encuestas que lo daban muy favorable. Bueno, todo esto está en revisión de nuevo, ¿no?
Duró nada. Otro de los grandes protagonistas de la jornada fue Kicillof, Axel Kicillof.
Okay, so now they're saying that one of the other main actors in today's results is Axel Kicillof, who we will hear here in his acceptance speech.
No puedo pagar la factura, no hay créditos para producir, el sueldo no me alcanza, el precio de tal cosa, las tarifas, en todos lados exactamente lo mismo. Y cómo no, si en estos 3 años y medio se han perdido muchísimas cosas. Yo siempre lo digo, había problemas, pero donde antes había un problema, ahora hay 2, 3, 4, 5 problemas. La verdad es que la provincia
So he said that he knows that the government, that the previous government, led by Cristina Fernández, when they lost power, there were many problems. There were 2 or 3 problems. And he says that now, towards the end of the Macri government, there are not 2 or 3 problems, but more 5, 6 problems.
Miren, uno de los números que a uno más le impresiona y que hay que dejar muy en claro, y que no tiene nada que ver con lo que uno pensaba o piensa o cree para la provincia de Buenos Aires. Este es un gobierno que ha cerrado, escúchenlo bien, 250 escuelas en la provincia de Buenos Aires. Es un gobierno...
This is a government which has closed 250 schools, public schools, in the Buenos Aires province.
Lo hemos recopilado y hemos pensado sobre esto, pero también nos deja una sensación agridulce. ¿Por qué? Porque los bonaerenses no bajaron los brazos. Con todo esto encima, no bajaron los brazos.
Beyond all the problems that the people of the province of Buenos Aires had in the last few years, they have not given up, and they've come out today to vote for the opposition.
Con absolutamente todos los sectores. Decía recién, con los profesionales, con los comerciantes, con los pequeños productores, con los maestros, con las maestras, con los médicos, con las enfermeras, con absolutamente todos los sectores, con los que nos votaron y con los que no nos votaron. Esto es fundamental, esto es lo que hemos aprendido. Necesitamos absolutamente a todos, y necesitamos a todos porque queremos construir una provincia con todos, con un gobierno que trabaje para todos. Compañeros y compañeras, un día bonaerenses, un día lleno de alegría, lleno de felicidad, un día donde sabemos que vamos a seguir haciendo lo mismo, vamos a seguir recorriendo, vamos a seguir caminando, vamos a
Axel
seguir
Kicillof saying there that the campaign has not come to an end, that this is just the start, and that they're going to continue their campaign trail, visiting people around the province of Buenos Aires, and yeah, very happy with their very, very big landslide win in the province of Buenos Aires. 16 percentage points separates the government from the opposition, and obviously also at the federal level, a tremendously bad night for the government, losing in the landslide these primary elections by more or less 15 percentage points.
Solito, sin el gran aparato que puede darte un gobierno nacional, se haya llevado 17 puntos de diferencia.
Además, yo estuve mirando las secciones electorales y hay bastante homogeneidad. Uno esperaba, bueno, solamente la tercera sección, la matanza, pero ha sido un triunfo. Después hay que mirar en detalle, localidad por localidad, a ver cómo le fue a los intendentes, a cómo fue algunas pasos que fueron del Frente de Todos, o también de qué pasó ahí el lado fino, que uno lo va a mirar con detalle, pero evidentemente el malestar es en toda la provincia, no solo...
The analysts on C5N at the moment, this network which is the most watched news network in Argentina, and which today broke all records in terms of viewership in Argentina, the highest rating electoral coverage in Argentina tonight. What they're saying is that people have obviously said enough's enough, and they've gone to the ballot boxes today across Argentina in droves. 75% of the electoral roll turned up and showed up to vote today, and a landslide in for the centre-left coalition, the Front for All, led by Alberto Fernández.
Era Aníbal Fernández. Axel Kicillof claramente es mejor candidato que Aníbal Fernández. De hecho, hasta le sumó, le sacó diferencia a lo que es el kirchnerismo a nivel, o a la oposición, para decirlo con propiedad, a nivel nacional. O sea, sacó más votos, a diferencia de Aníbal Fernández, que había sacado menos votos que los que en su momento sacó Scioli.
Sí, son contextos difíciles de comparar, porque vos te acordás que el candidato iba a ser Randazzo y después no aceptó y apareció una interna, una paso entre Julián Domínguez y Aníbal, y Aníbal tuvo esa campaña de la morsa, un montón de cuestiones que aparecieron y que alguna vez tenemos que entender qué pasó, y también con otra lógica, con otra forma, que Aníbal, otra modalidad discursiva. Axel agarró el auto y se fue pueblo por pueblo, lugar por lugar, recorriendo miles de kilómetros. Hizo y por otro lado, fíjate que la campaña del macrismo, ultra sofisticada, con muchísimos recursos, tecnología, microsegmentación, te llega el celular, el WhatsApp, hizo la anticampaña austera, tratando de no entrar en provocaciones, porque yo vi muchas entrevistas donde se lo buscaba que muestre lo que quieren ver como el autoritarismo, etc.
So, a huge result for the centre-left coalition, the Front for All coalition tonight. Mauricio Macri reportedly, in his speech to the nation, asked Argentines to go to bed. He said Argentines should go to sleep because we have lost the election. Well, what we've heard is a lot of people are actually in the streets at the moment celebrating the defeat of the government in these primary elections, as we see that C5N there is going to a commercial break. So we're going to come back here to Santiago, where we're having a look and following these election results in Argentina and reporting them as best as we can in English. Apologies for all the technical difficulties that we've had tonight. We're going to cross over very shortly to our man on the ground in Buenos Aires, our friend over there, Julian, who will put us up to date with everything that's happening. Julian Sanseverino will be putting that call in very shortly. In the meantime, we will, as we set this up, just give us a moment. Stand by, we'll be right back. And we're back here as we cover these primary elections in Argentina. Open, simultaneous, mandatory elections in Argentina, where the result which we've had tonight cannot be called anything less than a landslide to the opposition, the centre-left opposition. The Front for All has put itself into the box seat in the lead up to the elections, the general elections, which are 2.5 months away on October the 27th. We've already heard both presidential candidates speak on stage. First and foremostly was the incumbent president, Mauricio Macri, at around 10:30 Argentine local time, went on the stage, spoke to the nation, conceded defeat, and he also confessed that his coalition, the Together for Change coalition, had a very, very bad election. Today, a little bit later, about 45 minutes after Mauricio Macri took to the stage, Alberto Fernandez, the presidential candidate for the winner of today's election, the Front for All, the centre-left coalition, took to the stage and said that today, and as of today, what we're doing is building a new Argentina. And he also said that the narrative of that divide in the Argentine society is coming to an end, and that as of tomorrow, they start researching and seeing how it is that they will put together a series of policies to reconstruct Argentina if obviously they win the election in 2.5 months' time. Now, Julian Sanseverino, our man in Buenos Aires, has been very kind enough to rejoin us in this broadcast. And a very interesting day tomorrow we will have, Julian.
Yes. Well, hello. It's nice to be back here.
Thanks for joining us.
It's going to be really interesting. It's going to be interesting to see how the market fluctuates the next day and the next month of Macri government. It's important to restate to say that Macri and the official media was putting a lot of pressure in the idea that if Alberto Fernandez win, the markets will going to be crazy and the investors are going to be out of Argentina.
So what you're saying there is that the mainstream media, which is obviously supportive of the government, has been saying that a win for the opposition means chaos in terms of the economy and the markets.
That's the main argument that they raised here in the last few days.
Right.
Yeah, because no, actually the speech of Macri in the last month has been destroyed by the facts. So he went to using other paths to persuade his electors. One of those is basically that the markets are going to
explode. Yes, well,
basically explode. Yeah.
Well, obviously that narrative and that rhetoric did not work because this landslide, which we see come out of Argentina today, really exceeds the expectation of even the most optimists of pollsters in the opposition. We've said it a few times tonight. The more conservative polls were saying that the government would be defeated by about 4 percentage points. The more optimistic ones were saying that the government would lose by 8 percentage points. What we have seen is that the government has lost by 15 percentage points. Tell us, what's the vibe in Buenos Aires tonight? What are you feeling?
Right now, at this time, it's really calm, but especially in the places where Cristina and Alberto, Frente de Todos supporters were, it was really, really evident the climax of celebration.
Yes.
Because of this uninspired victory, And in the other side, in the bunker, we call it here the bunker. The
place
where
the headquarters of the...
headquarters, headquarters. The headquarters of Mauricio Macri and of Juntos por el Cambio. It was really evident
they were very sad, weren't they?
Yeah, very sad and
very disappointed.
The scary of the situation.
You're saying that your sense is that they're very frightened of what's to come.
Yes, exactly. Because basically, seeing the data and the numbers of the expressive votation today show really a weakness of his government. It's showing how they are failing, and they also can see that they are realizing that.
What you just said there is very interesting, because yesterday in our interview with Datilio Boron, he also said that he had the sense that people in the government were starting to get frightened because they're very fearful of what the repercussions will be if they lose government, including things that have to do with the judiciary. Perhaps if they do lose government, many of these officials of the government will have to face the legal system in order to confess and in order to come to terms and to demonstrate what it is that they did when they were in power. So perhaps maybe some of the fear comes from that way. What we could see out of the images which were coming out of Buenos Aires tonight was that, as you were saying, the headquarters there, they were deserted. The people left straight away. What we also could see was two of the government's main officials came on national television with some incredible analysis of what happened tonight. First and foremostly, Elisa Carrió, for our viewers who don't know her or who've known or who've heard very little of her, she's quite a figure in Argentine politics, quite a colourful character is Elisa Lilita Carrió. She's come on television tonight saying that even though the government lost by 15 percentage points, she's quite optimistic that they can win in October, which not even, I think she's very optimistic. I don't think there'd be very many people who would agree with that. What do you say, Julian?
I think that not even Macri agree with Elisa Carrió.
Not even Macri agrees with that.
No, Macri was funny when he gave his speech, his loose speech. After he finished it, he sent everyone to sleep.
That's incredible, isn't it? So
sends all Argentinians to sleep. He said, "People, now we need to go to sleep."
So basically, that's incredible. So basically, he said, "We lost. Go to bed."
Yeah, exactly. Let's do that. Let's do that, and that's the most tangible phase of this election.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Exactly. That's quite interesting. Well, it'll be interesting to see tomorrow what'll happen at 10 a.m. when the markets in Buenos Aires open, and see what happens. First and foremostly with the value of the Argentine peso, inflation. What will happen from here onwards will be very interesting as well, because in the next 2.5 months, I think a lot of things can happen in Argentina.
Yes. Of course, probably seeing the mainstream media and the media that supports Macri, what the politics analytics were saying that it's necessary for Macri to call a meeting with the directives of the government to take new actions in order to see how they can in some way rise up again the government.
That's right.
It's really scary what's happening. Actually,
that's right.
It's scary because they lose in some of the most strong places. Of Argentina, the places with a conservative tradition.
Yes. For example, Mendoza.
Mendoza or Cordoba. In Cordoba, for example, they don't lose actually.
Yep.
But related to the past elections,
yes,
the
swing against the government in one of their strongholds is impressive, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And they led to the opposition to grow.
You've got some numbers there on that, is that right?
Yes, I actually have I have some from Cordoba. It's the most impacting one. Cordoba is is the most conservative state here.
Yep.
And even though Macri lose just a little 2 or 3 points related to last election in 2015,
yes,
we can see an exponential growth of
the opposition
from the opposition.
Yeah,
we can see that in 2015 elections, the opposition gets 19 points against 53% from Macri. And
that's impressive.
This year's election, the opposition get 30% of the votes. Macri get 48%. So Macri lose some points, but the opposition grow exaggerately, really hard. And in Buenos Aires, I have some data too. Buenos Aires is the biggest state of Argentina, and
yes,
it is not the most conservative one, but it's a state that mark the elections.
Correct.
Yeah.
Well, Macri was was the city of Buenos Aires' political chief there for 2 terms before being president.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Is the Buenos Aires following Cordoba is one of the most conservative cities. For example, in Buenos Aires, last election they get 24. The opposition get 24%, and this year they have 33%.
Right.
They have a growth.
I've just got data here. Sorry to interrupt you there, Julian. But what we're seeing here is that the Frente de Todos, the Front for All, the opposition, who have done very well tonight in Cordoba, their growth, the swing to the opposition there was 10.2%.
Yes.
10.2%, and the government lost 4.5%.
Yeah.
So it's an incredible result there for the opposition in a district which, it must be said, Cordoba is the district which gave Macri the presidency in 2015.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Amazing.
It's really stunning result. This is a historical election.
It is. Sorry, I've got new figures. It's 12.4%.
Yeah.
The swing towards the opposition in Cordoba.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
That's historic. I think that would be historic in Argentina for sure.
Yes, exactly. Here in Buenos Aires, in the city, also the candidate from Frente de Todos, who is running for the government of the city, also gets 33%. If I'm not wrong, let me check it.
Yeah, he got 34.3%. The opposition got 34.3% in the city of Buenos Aires.
Exactly, and that's comparing to last year's elections. It is an exponential growth too. Like last time, the opposition and we can call it too Kirchnerism, if we can.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know if you explain what does mean, but didn't get a result like that in like 10 years.
That's right. That's right. Well, exactly. It must be said that the center left in Argentina has, at least in the past decade, has been getting, in the best case scenario, 22-23% in the city of Buenos Aires. In the worst case scenario, 18%. So it always used to hover between 18 and 24. Mm-hmm. And today they got 34.3%. So that's huge growth for the opposition in the district, which the Pro Party and Cambiemos, now called Juntos por el Cambio, Together for Change, used to call home. So incredible result there in the city of Buenos Aires. Let's talk a little bit about the province of Buenos Aires, which there is collective knowledge in Argentina that in electoral terms, if you win the province of Buenos Aires, you win the nation, because that's how important the province of Buenos Aires is. It's the bellwether state in Argentina, the province of Buenos Aires. And 2015, in that province, which has historically been very much of a centre-left province, which has been the bastion, which has been the stronghold of the Peronist movement in Argentina, lost the province of Buenos Aires when Macri won government. Maria Eugenia Vidal, who was, Macri's candidate in the Buenos Aires province, won that election. It must be said that she won that election with a lot of help from the mainstream media in Argentina, and with many conspiracy theories, which even said that her opponent at that time had committed a few murders along the way. So she gets over the line. She wins government. She's been in government for 4 years. And her track record in the province of Buenos Aires is absolutely terrible. And the people have come out to vote in droves today, and they've really, they've really given her quite a message through the ballot box. We can see there that the swing towards the opposition in the province of Buenos Aires is 15.2%. Talk to us a little bit about Axel Kicillof, who is the candidate there for the centre left in the province of Buenos Aires.
Axel Kicillof is the former Minister of Economy, Cristina government.
He's very young.
Really young, and he have a really bright career. Like he's really young. He's inside politics, and even though inside the university politics, he's really he has been really an important
figure.
Important figure, exactly.
Yeah.
And it's really funny because Axel Kicillof is not from Buenos Aires province. He's from the capital of Argentina, from Ciudad Buenos Aires.
Right. So he's native. He's a native of the city of Buenos Aires.
Yes. Yeah. But in the last 4 years, actually, he changed his.
So he's gone to live into the province.
Yeah, and he started a really ant campaign, if you can call it, like really.
Very grassroots campaign.
He went to he passed 3 years visiting every single city of that really big states, and in each city that he went, a lot of people go to see him talking. That's really amazing, and that's really part of the victory of Kicillof. He make a really base campaign, talking to people and going to every single place of this big state. That Buenos Aires have the size of Uruguay and Spain, for example. It's a really big state and have a lot of population. And Kicillof had the work to go to every single place and visit it.
As we're talking at the moment, and we're listening to what you're telling us about Axel Kicillof, what we've got on our screen is the car which he went around the Buenos Aires province, an old Renault Clio. He rode all around the province, speaking to people, and very low budget campaign. And in this car, which you can see on your screen now, this man has been able to talk to the people and really get well known, so much so that he has won this election with a massive swing in his favor in the province of Buenos Aires. An amazing story there with Axel Kicillof indeed. So what we're going to do is, and if you can just stand by there, Julian, we're having a look here, thanks to our friends at Página 12, some of the results around the country. Now, what we can see, and you obviously can't see this, Julian, but if you go to pagina12.com.ar, you'll be able to see a map of Argentina, and it is a huge sea of sky blue. What we can see is that most of Argentina has gone from being yellow to blue, which means that yellow is the colour of the government, blue is the colour of the opposition. And the government has obviously retained, as we mentioned here previously, the city of Buenos Aires and the province of Córdoba, but the rest of the country is now back in the hands of the centre left. Let's have a look at the province of Buenos Aires more specifically. And what we can see here is in the election for the presidency, as we were saying before, the Front for All has had a massive swing towards it of 15.2%. It's 52.3% for the Alberto Cristina Fernández ticket in the province of Buenos Aires. In second place, the Juntos para el Cambio coalition, the Coalition for Change, the centre-right wing coalition led by Mauricio Macri there, with a terrible result, 31% in the province of Buenos Aires. That means a swing. Yes, go ahead, Julian.
Say that Maria Eugenia Vidal was considered by Macri his successor in case that the polls were give a bad result for him. So for like last year, most of the common opinion was thinking that Maria Eugenia Vidal was going to be the successor of Macri, actually.
Yes.
And that's also a really impacting a scenario of this election, because one of the most iconic and stronger political figure of Juntos por el Cambio, now is shown to be defeated too. So.
Yeah, and it's very much a case of dead man walking, both for Macri and dead woman walking for Maria Eugenia Vidal, because to turn this around in just 2.5 months, in my opinion, and I think that'd be your opinion as well, Julian, and anyone who's watching us, very difficult to turn this around in just 2.5 months. Of course, we must never underestimate the power of the mainstream media and obviously the economic powers, but still it'd be very difficult to turn around such a huge margin of 15% towards the opposition in the whole of Argentina. Let's have a look at what we were talking about before with Julian, which is the race for governor of the Buenos Aires provinces. This refreshes, and we'll go in here now. Let's go to, there we go. We've got province of Buenos Aires, and very interesting what we're seeing here on our screen, because it's 3 provinces who are electing their primaries today for their governors, which is the province of Buenos Aires, which is the city of Buenos Aires, and the province of Catamarca. In the province of Buenos Aires, 52.4% to the opposition, to the centre-left coalition there, and it's 34.8% to the government there, which is a centre-right wing government headed by, as we were mentioning before, Maria Eugenia Vidal. Let's have a look at the results in the Argentine national capital, in the city of Buenos Aires. What we have there as well, well, it's a retain there for the government. We were mentioning before, the city of Buenos Aires is one of the big strongholds of the centre-right in Argentina. They've won 50.4%, but the growth, the exponential growth of the Frente de Todos, of the centre-left coalition there, is incredible, 34.9%, when they usually only get anywhere between 18 and 22%. So that's a great result there for the opposition in the province, in the city of Buenos Aires. And in Catamarca, big result here for the candidacy for governor. In the race for governor in Catamarca, 62.6% of the votes went to the centre-left Frente de Todos, and 28.5% went to the government, to the centre right-wing force Juntos por el Cambio. Let's have a look. President and vice president, as we were saying before, that big, huge sea of blue, which has inundated the map of Argentina. Let's have a look at Santa Fe, because Santa Fe is a province where the centre-left, or better, the centre-left, but more specifically the Peronist movement, had lost a lot of terrain over the last 20 years in Santa Fe. What can you tell us about Santa Fe, Julian?
Santa Fe is it's a special state because it's the only state in Argentina that the Socialist Party has a really big representation.
Yes.
But surprisingly, in this year's election for governor, they lose. Socialist Party lose to Perotti.
Yep. To the centre-left Peronist candidate they had there. Yes.
Exactly. And now we can see again not only the Socialist Party, that in this election the nationally is playing not with Juntos por el Cambio but with Consenso Federal. But we can see both of the strongest forces, historically strongest forces of Santa Fe, losing to the Peronism. So
yeah.
It's other surprise. I would expect Santa Fe to have a bigger vote in respect to Consenso Federal, but they only get 12.3%. That is biggest than what we had in the other states in relation to Federal. But even though it's really low, so it's
very interesting what you say there about the Santa Fe province, because the Santa Fe province has been home for about 2 decades now, for 20 years, of the social democratic force in Argentina, which is the Socialist Party in Argentina. So, because it must be said that social democracy in Argentina has never been a big force. It's always been between those on the right, more conservative to right-wing sectors, and then Peronism in Argentina, which is a big tent sort of movement, which you've had, especially in the Menem years, it's gone quite a bit more to the right, and during the Kirchner years, it's drifted back to the centre-left sort of part of the spectrum. But the social democratic movement, which is obviously very big in other countries such as Europe, in France, in the Nordic countries, in the Scandinavian countries, in Australia as well, has never really been that much of a force in Argentina, except for the province of Santa Fe, where this year they've lost power. They've lost power. It's gone back to the Peronist movement. Not only the Peronist movement, I think it's fair to say that it's more of a centre-left coalition, because you've got, and we haven't spoken about this very much, who's in the Frente de Todos, who's in the coalition de Todos. You've got the Communist Party of Argentina, you've got the Peronist movement, you've got the humanitarian, the Humanist Party as well. There's quite a lot of it.
From God to left, from God to devil. In the is really open. You have a Frente Renovador. That is a Massa, Sergio Massa party. Sergio Massa was the candidate from deputies from the states of Buenos Aires.
Yes.
And in the last election, he was the third force.
Exactly.
In the 2015 election. So it's a really big coalition of parties.
Big changes in Argentina, and thanks to Macri, because it's been.
This is really unique, and it's thanks to Macri. You have in this election you had a lot of movements and maybe smaller parties, but political expression itself, even though they were small, that had passed the 12 years of Kirchnerism, criticizing the central this Peronism movement.
Yes.
And in this election, they decide to go together with those who they criticize.
They understood, according to their statements, they've understood that unity was important at this point in time in order to defeat the government, a government which is, as we were mentioning before, its track record is really, really, really bad in terms of the economy and everything else that comes off the back of that. Let's have a look at Santa Fe, as we were saying. Frente de Todos. Geez, they've had a very good election in Santa Fe today. The opposition had a 12% swing in Santa Fe, 48.9% of the votes in Santa Fe for the Frente de Todos, 33.3% of the votes for the right-wing coalition Juntos por el Cambio. Let's have a look at Mendoza, because that's another district which many people have been speaking about today, Julian. Mendoza there with a huge win for the Frente de Todos.
Huge and also surprising.
Surprising.
Mendoza, Santa Fe, Mendoza and Cordoba were supposed to be those states in where Juntos por el Cambio had the chance to win because of the last governors of that states and the tradition that they had. But in this election, actually, Mendoza also united to the Frente de Todos.
The coalition.
The coalition, yeah. So Mendoza was also as we can see in the map, a blue state.
It's also a blue state, yes, absolutely. What else do we have then that's quite important? Well, let's have a look at Cordoba, because it's another part of the country which is very interesting. At this time, with 97.6% of the votes counted, we could, very fair to say that we could say that in Cordoba it's all over. Juntos por el Cambio did win there with a 50.1 result. Have I got this data right? I think I do. Yes, Juntos por el Cambio did win 50.1% of the vote. No, this is wrong. This can't be right. We'll come back to that after. After. I think that's
okay.
That's not right there. But anyway, look, we're going to start wrapping up now anyway. But very interesting results coming out of Argentina. I can't say this enough. I think Julian would tend to agree with this. Do keep an eye on Argentina tomorrow, especially at 10 a.m. local Argentine time, because that's when we'll know how the markets will react to this result today. That's when we'll know if the Argentine peso will continue to tumble. It'll also be very interesting to see what the government does the next 2.5 months, not only in terms of its campaigning, but also in terms of how they manage the economy and the country.
Exactly.
Julian, what are your opinions on that?
I think that it's going to be a really interesting week to analyze, and the months that are coming are going to be decisive. They are going to be crucial for this government and for the future of Argentina too. We need to see it, because there is also a factor of fear that this government is putting in the idea of the markets, and we should analyze that again. It's nothing. It's completely playing here, and I think that everything could happen.
especially when it comes to Argentine politics, nothing is ever plain in terms of Argentine politics. Julian, it's been lovely talking to you. I thank you very much for staying up this late to talk to us. We'll be in touch throughout the next couple of months, because Argentina will be a very interesting place to analyze and see what's happening and how that will continue. So I thank you very, very much for coming and speaking to us tonight, and all the best to you.
Yeah, thank you for your opportunity. And this is going to be a really crucial year in South America itself. We have a lot of elections, so this election, together with all the elections that we are going to have in this continent in this year, is going to be crucial. So yeah,
absolutely.
Nice to talk to you, and nice to be part of this.
All the best to you. Thanks so much for staying up this late, and thank you to everyone who's watched our broadcast tonight. Really appreciate you being there on the other side and understanding that technical difficulties will occur, but here we are telling you what's going on in Latin America, more specifically in English, especially in the English language, which we consider is very, very important. Do like this page, do like this video, do comment on it if you have anything to say, and obviously do follow us, because in the next 2.5 months we will have a lot to say and report on Argentina. This has been Argentina Votes 2019. Thank you very much for your company, and good night.
Hice lo posible, hace mucho que no hablo inglés. Igual. Sí, tranca vos. No, claro, me imaginé. Y está bueno, es así. Sí. Si querés, yo manejo muy bien política brasilera, viví mucho tiempo allá. Entonces, y milité allá, en Brasil. Entonces, si querés ayuda con eso, realmente. No, de uno. Sí, más en Florianópolis, en el sur. En el sur además son re nazis, no se puede. Imposible. Imposible lo que está pasando. Brasilia, la capital, ahí en el medio. Sí, exactamente. Es raro. No, pero el trabajo de mi viejo, claro, exactamente. Mi viejo, o sea, no, el esposo de mi vieja, labura en la UMS, claro, exacto. Entonces nada, Está muy bien. Dale, bueno, nos vemos. Acá bueno, sí, se hizo tarde. Está bien. Chao, no. Dale, no, no. Chao, chao, no, por favor. Chao.